Hey, how's everybody doing out there? I was just reminded of a experience that I had and wanted to share it with you all. I'm going to have some other postings here pretty soon. I got some documents and stuff that I want to show. I've been talking about. I'm digging out through all this paperwork. But anyways, there was a situation when I was being unlawfully held in the Zanesville Police Department jail, the Zanesville City Jail, I guess. Um, there was one of the employees there. I remember right. I think her last name was Newton. Uh, I was in the one of the big holding cells. They had moved me out of this single cell to put somebody else in there and moved me into the uh, like a communal holding cell. Anyways, so this uh, I can't remember what they call them over there. Uh, I guess they're officers. You wouldn't even call them that. Anyways, this incompetent employee slammed the cell door so hard that it didn't latch, and nobody realized it. So they all went on break, and nobody was out in the main area. I can't remember what they call that, like the main desk area where they do all the booking and all that kind of stuff. So while everybody was out on break, smoking their cigarettes and doing all that kind of stuff, not paying attention, this punk kid that they brought in that was, I guess, drunk and trying to start some fights at a restaurant or something or a bar locally here in town. Uh, he leaned over and pushed on the door, and the door popped open, and he was going to go out, and he was talking about really messing these employees up when they came back from their break. He was going to sneak out the door and hide under the desk somewhere so he could do a sneak attack on him and uh, I mean, do God knows what to them. So even in the situation that I was dealing with myself and I mean, I can't even think of words that are quite strong enough to characterize it fully, but the terrorizing nature in which they had treated me, even though I was going through all of that, I still had the presence of mind to protect others. And when I realized that this kid was going to sneak out the door and attack these employees, uh, I forced them to shut the door because what would that solve? What good would that do? What good would come of that? I mean, sure, I guess from one aspect, being that they were doing to me what they were doing, in some people's minds they could look at it as payback or something like that. But it is to a degree. I do agree with the concept of an eye for an eye. But in this situation here, with these employees, they're just dumb. They're just doing their job. Think they're doing their civic duty and service to the community. What they don't realize is they're an accessory to tyranny. They're an accessory to extortion and racketeering. Um, the only people that they have lawful authority to hold in there are people that actually cause others harm physically or cause harm to their property, cause real physical damages. And even then, it's only in the context that people don't want to show up to court. But anyways, I don't want to get into all that. Um, these incompetent employees that are just doing their job, just doing what they have to do to get that paycheck, uh, ignoring people's rights and so forth. Anyways, so I kept this kid from doing God knows what to these women. That's all that was on duty on that particular floor that night or whatever it was. I can't remember because I was in there for like 10 days in the same room basically. So I prevented a potentially catastrophic and tragic event from happening. I let this particular employee, I'm pretty sure her name was Newton, uh, I let her know. Um, I let the, what do they call it, the jail administrator, I think his name was Chad, I can't remember his last name. I let him know. Made sure that they were aware. Not that I wanted, necessarily wanted anything for it, or I wasn't looking for a trophy, or I just wanted to make sure that they were aware that the doors weren't latching, and that was a potential uh, safety concern. I mean, after all, you look at what they do to people. You leave doors unlocked, that could have catastrophic consequences. So when I brought it to their attention, these people didn't even have the decency to thank me for it. Not that I necessarily wanted it, and the only reason I bring it up is just because it's that type of character. They should be fully aware of what could have potentially happened had I not stopped this kid from sneaking out. No one else gave a shit. No one else was going to stop him. But I couldn't, in my right mind, I couldn't, in good conscience, let this kid go out. I couldn't sit there and watch him do God knows what to these women. So I did what I had to do. But these people, they have or don't have good character. Maybe it's the greed, maybe it's the desensitization of doing this to people for so long that maybe they're just not human anymore. Maybe they just don't really have a soul any longer. They've sold that soul for a position, for a title, for a paycheck, for a career, whatever they want to call it. And they can't even see the real, dare I say, human aspect of what I did. And it was extremely enlightening to me in that moment, going through that experience after the fact. That these are the type of people that I'm dealing with. They don't have a conscience. To them, it's just action and reaction. They're basically like robots. They keep waiting until they're told to go, told to do something. I mean, hell, the damn people couldn't even pick up a cleaning supply and wipe a counter. I think I saw one of the employees that was doing that. Anyways, I want you all to realize that these are the types of people. Too many times because of a uniform, because of a position, uh, because someone shows up every day for 10 years, 5 years, whatever, 20 years on schedule, and they're there to do their job. Just because they did that, what honor is there in that? They're faithful. Okay. What have they done? What kind of character do they have? What are they imparting to the next generation? Are they creating more of the same? Probably. Because the apples don't fall far from trees. So, tyranny begets tyranny. Fraud begets fraud. Crime begets crime. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or a genius or anything of that nature to comprehend these things. It just takes someone willing to pay attention. And, uh, fortunately, I guess for me, I had this experience. Because that's something I want these people, if any of them are listening, any of these people at the jail, the police department, the courts, any of these so-called public servants, I want you all to think about this and realize this. So I want you to understand this. If it wasn't for you doing what you've done, I wouldn't have learned what I've learned. And, well, let's just put it this way. Because of you, here pretty soon, I'm going to be a very wealthy man. I mean, I already was, but I'm going to be even more wealthy now because of your actions. So just let that sink in. I want you to realize that because of what you did, you set me free. So even though you did a lot of wrong, see, that's the blessing in all of this. God, whatever you want to call God, the creator, the creation, the engineer, the essence, the sun, whatever you want to call it, that force, that power, that presence, that it has a way of turning negatives into positives. It's a form of alchemy. And I think of situations like what I've gone through, and I'm constantly reminded at times through my life that it's pressure that makes diamonds. If you're not willing to go through the pressure, well, you might just be a lump of coal.